Lily Adams was the only human on the giant alien ship. She worked as a cleaner, moving through the massive halls with her mop and bucket, while tall blue-skinned aliens walked past her without even looking down. They called themselves the Xantari, and they thought humans were primitive and weak. Lily had taken this job because it paid well enough to send money back to her sick mother on Earth. The Xantari needed humans for jobs they thought were beneath them. Cleaning was one of those jobs. Every day Lily cleaned the medical wing where injured Xantari warriors came for healing their bodies covered in strange glowing wounds from battles with other alien races. The Xantari doctors were tall and graceful. With 6 fingers on each hand, they moved quickly using advanced technology. Lily did not understand. On this day, Lily was mopping near the nursery section when she heard a strange sound like a baby crying, but different, more like a chirping bird. She looked around, making sure no doctors were watching, then peeked through the door. Inside, she saw rows of glowing pods, each containing a tiny blue Xantari baby, but one pod was flashing red and making alarm sounds. The baby inside looked weak. Its normally bright blue skin was pale almost. White Lily knew she should not touch anything in the medical wing. The aliens had strict rules about humans touching their technology. But something was wrong and no doctors were coming. She looked at the control panel and saw blinking symbols she could not read. She stood frozen for a moment, then heard the baby make that chirping sound again, but weaker this time. The little thing was dying, and nobody was coming to help. Lily placed her mop against the wall and walked to the pod. She examined the control panel and noticed that one tube was disconnected from the life support system. It had come loose from its connector. She carefully pushed it back in until she heard a click. The pod stopped flashing red and turned a healthy green color. Instead, the baby inside moved slightly, its color beginning to return to normal blue. Lily smiled, feeling proud, then froze as she heard heavy footsteps behind her. She turned to see a tall female Xantari doctor staring at her with 4 glowing eyes. The alien was nearly 7 feet tall, with shimmering blue skin and wearing a white medical uniform with strange symbols. Lily recognized her as Dr. Vina, the head of the nursery. Human. "What are you doing in this restricted area?" asked Dr. Vina, her voice deep and musical through the translation device at her throat. Lily stepped back from the pod. Terrified, "Sorry, I heard an alarm and saw the baby was in trouble. The connector was loose, I just pushed it back in." Dr. Vina moved quickly to the pod, checking the readings on the monitor. Her 4 eyes widened with surprise. She turned to Lily with an expression the human could not read. "You reattached a quantum nutrient feed correctly?" asked the doctor, her voice now filled with something like wonder. "How did you know what to do?" Lily shrugged. "It looked like it fell out. I just put it back where it seemed to fit." Dr. Vina stared at Lily for a long moment. "This hatchling is the daughter of High Commander Zorax. She was born weak, and we have struggled to keep her alive. Had the feed remained disconnected for another few minutes, she would have died, and yet you, a human cleaner, saved her with no medical training." Lily looked at the baby, who was now moving more actively in the pod, her color almost completely normal. The little one reached a tiny 6-fingered hand toward the glass, as if reaching for. "Lily, humans are not permitted to touch Xantari medical equipment," continued the doctor. "Yet your instinct was correct. Where our automated systems failed, you succeeded with simple observation." "Sorry," said Lily. "I know the rules, I just couldn't let the baby die." Dr. Vina was quiet for a moment, then spoke. "You have a name. Human Lily. Adams, ma'am." Dr. Vina touched a device on her wrist and spoke in the clicking Xantari language that the translation device did not convert. Then she looked back at Lily Adams. "You will report to this medical wing tomorrow. Not as a cleaner, but as my assistant. I wish to study this human intuition that saved a life our technology could not." Lily was shocked but managed to nod in agreement. 3 days later, Lily found herself wearing a simple white uniform instead of her cleaning clothes. Dr. Vina had her observe the nursery and asked her questions about what she noticed. Lily pointed out things that seemed obvious to her. How some babies moved more than others, which ones ate more, and which seemed uncomfortable in their pods. Dr. Vina recorded everything Lily said. With growing interest, the Xantari relied so heavily on their technology, they had lost the ability to simply observe and react without data analysis. Lily was teaching them something they had forgotten. On the 5th day of her new job, Lily was called. To a special meeting, she entered a large chamber where several high-ranking Xantari waited, including a massive male with decorated armor and a stern expression. Lily Adams said, "Dr. Vina, this is High Commander Zorax, father of the hatchling you saved." The huge alien warrior looked down at Lily with piercing eyes. "My daughter grows strong now thanks to your human instincts," the commander said, his voice rumbling through the translator. "I am in your debt." Lily bowed her head slightly, not knowing the proper protocol. "It was nothing, sir. I just did what anyone would do." The commander made a sound like laughter. "No. Lily Adams, what you did was extraordinary for your kind. The Xantari Council has approved a new program at my request. We wish to learn this human intuition you possess. Dr. Vina will head the research and you will be her chief human consultant." Lily thought about her mother back on Earth, about the money she could now send home, and the difference she could make. She looked up at the towering aliens and for the first time since coming aboard the ship, she smiled without fear. "I would be honored," she said. The commander nodded, then added one more thing. "My daughter has been named Lilazari in your honor. It means one who sees with clear eyes in our language." Lily felt tears form but blinked them away, not wanting to seem weak before these powerful aliens. Instead, she stood straighter, feeling for the first time like she belonged among the stars. 2 months passed and Lily was no longer just an observer in the medical wing. She had become an important part of the Xantari healing team. Her simple human insights, changing how the aliens cared for their young Dr. Vina, had created special instruments that measured what she called human intuition. But was really just Lily noticing things like skin color changes, breathing patterns and movement that the Xantari technology overlooked in favor of complex data words spread through the massive ship. About the human who saved the commander's daughter and other Xantari began to treat Lily differently. They no longer ignored her in the hallways. Some even nodded in greeting. One morning, Lily entered the nursery to find Dr. Vina. Looking troubled, the tall blue alien was studying a complex holographic display showing the ship routes through space. "What's wrong?" Lily asked now, comfortable speaking directly to the doctor. Dr. Vina turned her 4 eyes focusing on Lily. "The ship has changed course. We are responding to a distress signal from a Xantari science vessel. It was attacked by the Drakari." Lily had heard of the Drakari. They were the enemies of the Xantari, insect-like beings who lived on desert planets. The two species had been at war for decades. "Will there be injured coming here?" Lily asked. "Yes," replied Dr. Vina. "Many warriors and scientists with severe wounds. We must prepare the medical wing over the next several hours." Lily helped the medical team set up emergency stations, preparing beds and equipment for the incoming wounded. The mood on the ship had changed. Everyone moved with urgent purpose. When the injured arrived, Lily was shocked by the severity of their wounds. The Xantari were carried in on floating stretchers, their blue skin burned and cut with strange, glowing orange wounds that seemed to move like fire. Dr. Vina worked frantically, moving from patient to patient, but the orange wounds resisted the Xantari healing technology. Lily watched in horror as one warrior died, despite the doctor's best efforts, the orange fire spreading across his body. "These are new weapons," said Dr. Vina, her voice tight with concern. "Our healing methods are not effective. The wounds continue to spread even after treatment." Lily moved closer to examine one of the injured, a female scientist whose arm was covered in the strange orange glow. Unlike the doctors who use scanners and computers, Lily simply looked closely at the wound. "The orange stuff seems to spread faster when you use the healing rays on it," she observed. "It looks like it's feeding on the energy, Doctor." Vina paused her work and stared at Lily with sudden realization. "The Drakari have weaponized our own healing energy against us," she said. "They have created a substance that absorbs energy and uses it to grow. But then how do we treat it?" asked another doctor. Lily thought about simple things from Earth. When something is growing out of control, you starve it or freeze it. She suggested hesitantly. Dr. Vina immediately ordered one of the wounded to be placed in a special chamber where the temperature could be controlled. Lily watched as they lowered the temperature around the orange wound, gradually cooling it. The glow began to fade as the substance slowed its movement, looking less like fire and more like cooling lava. Dr. Vina added a substance that blocked energy absorption, and finally the wound stopped spreading. "You have saved us again," Lily Adams said. "Dr. Vina, our technology would have continued feeding the Drakari weapon until all were lost." Word of Lily's insight spread quickly through the ship. High Commander Zorax himself came to the medical wing to observe the treatment they had developed. He watched as Lily demonstrated the cooling technique to a group of Xantari doctors. "The human shows us a different path," said the commander, his voice carrying through the medical wing. "She sees what our technology blinds us to." That evening, Lily was called to a meeting of the Xantari High Council, a great honor for any crew member, let alone a human. She stood nervously before the 12 leaders of the ship, including Commander Zorax and Dr. Vina. "Lily Adams," said the eldest council member, her skin a pale blue with age markings twice. "You have brought wisdom to the Xantari, first saving a commander's child, then showing us how to heal wounds. Our technology could not. The council has decided you will join a special mission." Lily looked at Dr. Vina, who nodded encouragingly. "The Drakari have requested peace talks," continued the elder. "They have suffered losses as well, and seek an end to this conflict. We will send a delegation to their homeworld, and you will join us." Lily asked, surprised. "Why would you want me there?" "Because you see differently," explained Commander Zorax, "where we might miss signs of treachery or opportunity. Your human perspective may notice what we cannot. This is too valuable to leave behind." Lily thought about the responsibility they were placing on her. A former cleaner, now part of a peace delegation that could end a war between alien species. It seemed impossible. And yet here she was. "I will do my best," she promised. The journey to the Drakari homeworld took 2 weeks. Lily spent the time learning everything she could about the insect-like aliens, their culture and history. Dr. Vina helped explaining the complex relationship between the two species. The Drakari ship that met them at the edge of their territory was smaller than the Xantari vessel, but still impressive, covered in golden armor plating that reflected the light of nearby stars. Lily stood with the Xantari delegation as they prepared to board the Drakari ship. She wore a special environment suit since the Drakari world had different air than humans could breathe. Commander Zorax stood beside her, his massive frame making her feel even smaller. "Remember, Lily Adams," he said, "your eyes are our advantage. Observe everything." The Drakari greeting party was fascinating to Lily. They stood on 4 legs with 2 additional limbs that functioned as arms, their bodies covered in hard exoskeletons of amber and black. Their faces featured compound eyes and moving mouth parts that clicked as they spoke. "Welcome, Xantari," said the lead Drakari through a translation device. "Our queen awaits you," as they moved through the Drakari ship. Lily noticed details the others missed, how the Drakari workers touched antennae when they passed, each other sharing information, how certain corridors were heavily guarded, while others were left open. She observed the temperature changes as they moved deeper into the ship. The audience chamber was massive and hot like a desert at noon. In the center sat the Drakari queen, larger than the others, with golden markings across her exoskeleton. She watched the delegation approach with multifaceted eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. Lily stood slightly behind Commander Zorax, observing quietly as the formal greetings began, but something felt wrong to her. The chamber seemed too exposed, too vulnerable for a queen. In wartime, she noticed small movements in the walls that the others missed. She tugged gently on Commander Zorax's armor and whispered, "Something isn't right, there's movement in the walls." Commander Zorax subtly shifted his position, placing himself between Lily and the queen. While continuing the diplomatic conversation, his training allowed him to speak, while simultaneously preparing for danger. The Drakari queen clicked her mouthparts in what seemed like a friendly gesture. "The treaty we propose will benefit both our species," she said through the translator. "We have fought too long over resources that could be shared." Lily kept watching the walls where she had noticed movement. Earlier there, it was again a slight shimmer, like something moving beneath the surface. She tugged again on the commander's armor and whispered, "Those aren't decorations, they're weapons." Commander Zorax made a slight hand signal to his security team, who casually repositioned themselves around the delegation. The Xantari were now in defensive formation without being obvious about it. "We are pleased to discuss resource sharing. said Commander Zorax, his voice calm, but his posture alert perhaps. We could start with the disputed mining colonies in the Krell sector. The Queen shifted slightly, her compound eyes reflecting the light strangely before we proceed. I must know, she said, why have you brought a human to these negotiations? All eyes turned to Lily, who felt suddenly exposed. The Queen had noticed her despite her position behind the Xantari delegates. Lily Adams is a valued advisor. Commander Zorax stated she has unique perspectives that benefit our people. The Queen studied Lily. With interest, humans are known to be unpredictable and observant. She said, have you observed anything interesting about our ship, little human? Lily swallowed hard, knowing she was being tested. She decided honesty was her only option. I noticed that. This room seems strange for a peace negotiation. She said, it's too exposed for a queen in wartime, and there's movement in the walls, like weapons or soldiers waiting. The chamber went completely silent. The Drakari guards tensed hands, moving toward weapons. The Queen made a sound that the translator did not convert. Then, to everyone's surprise, she began making a clicking sound that was translated as laughter. Remarkable, said the Queen. You see what even my own advisors thought was hidden. The Xantari were right to bring you. With a gesture from the Queen, the walls shimmered and revealed hidden Drakari warriors armed but not moving. They had indeed been concealed, as Lily suspected. We did not plan to attack, the Queen explained, but neither did we plan to be vulnerable. Even in peace talks, trust is earned slowly after decades of war. The human saw through our precautions, which proves she is valuable indeed. Commander Zorax nodded in acknowledgement. I believe we have established an honest foundation for our talks, he said, both sides cautious but now open about it. The negotiations proceeded more openly. After that, with both sides acknowledging their security measures, the Queen seemed particularly interested in Lily asking her opinion on several matters when discussions became tense. By the end of the day, a preliminary agreement had been reached, the first step toward peace between the species, as they prepared to return to their ship. Commander Zorax placed a heavy hand on Lily's shoulder. Your eyes saved us from potential misunderstanding today, he said. You continue to prove your worth over the next week. Lily attended all the negotiation sessions, sometimes speaking when asked, but mostly observing. The Drakari had begun to respect her insights as much as the Xantari did on the third day. The Queen requested Lily join her for a private conversation with only Dr. Vina present as an escort. The Queen's private chamber was cooler than the rest of the ship, designed for comfort rather than formality. She dismissed her guards, leaving only the three of them in the room. Lily Adams, said the Queen, I wish to understand humans better. You are the first I have met in person. Dr. Vina has explained how you saved the commander's daughter and discovered the treatment for our new weapons. Lily nodded, unsure what to say. The Queen continued, your species is physically weak compared to ours or the Xantari. Yet you notice what we miss. You find solutions where we see only problems. This is valuable, especially now. What do you mean now? Lily asked. The Queen looked at Dr. Vina, then back to Lily. There is a reason we sought peace at this time. A threat approaches that concerns all our species. We detected something at the edge of our territory, an unknown force that destroys everything it encounters. Dr. Vina leaned forward. What kind of force? The Queen activated a holographic display showing a dark cloud moving through space, consuming everything in its path. It absorbs energy, matter, and life. She explained, our scientists cannot understand it. The Xantari outposts it has encountered have also fallen silent. Lily studied the hologram, watching how the darkness moved. It reminded her of something, a documentary she had seen on Earth about certain bacteria that consumed everything in their path, growing as they fed. How fast is it moving? She asked. The Queen adjusted the display, showing the progression over time. It will reach major populated worlds within 6 months. Dr. Vina looked troubled. The combined fleet of our peoples might be able to evacuate some worlds, but not all, and we have no defense against something we don't understand. The Queen turned to Lily. We have brought you here because we need human intuition. Lily Adams, our greatest scientists, and the Xantari experts have found no solution. Perhaps you will see what we cannot. Lily felt overwhelmed by the responsibility they were placing on her. She was not a scientist or warrior, just a woman who noticed things, but the fate of billions rested on finding an answer. I will try, she said. But I need to understand more about this thing. Can I see all the data you have? The Queen nodded. Of course you will have access to everything. We know. For the next 3 days, Lily studied the information about the Dark Force while peace negotiations continued. She worked with both Xantari and Drakari scientists, examining every detail of the encounters with the phenomenon. On the 4th day, as she was reviewing footage of the darkness consuming a small moon, she noticed something interesting just before the moon was engulfed. There was a brief flash at its core, like it was trying to fight back. She called Dr. Vina and a senior Drakari scientist named Kriz to show them her discovery. Look at this, she said, pointing to the flash. It happens every time. Just before something is completely absorbed, there's a reaction like the object's own energy pushes back. Dr. Vina enhanced the image. The energy signature appears to temporarily slow the darkness she observed, but it isn't strong enough to stop it. Lily thought about the wounded Xantari and how the orange substance had fed on energy. What if this darkness works the same way she suggested? It feeds on energy but can be overloaded. Kriz clicked his mouthparts thoughtfully. A massive energy surge at the right frequency might disrupt its feeding pattern enough to destabilize it. Dr. Vina looked at Lily with her 4 eyes wide with realization, like treating the Drakari weapon. She said, we could create a massive energy surge that seems attractive to it, but is actually harmful. The 3 of them brought their theory to Commander Zorax and the Queen, who immediately assigned their best scientists to develop the plan. Lily worked alongside them, offering her perspective when they became too focused on complex solutions. 2 weeks later, the combined Xantari and Drakari fleet positioned itself near the advancing darkness. They had built a special device based on Lily's insight, a massive energy generator that would produce a surge at precisely the frequency that seemed to disrupt the darkness. Lily stood on the bridge of the Xantari flagship, watching the view screen as the darkness approached. Commander Zorax beside her and Dr. Vina, monitoring the energy readings. Will it work? Asked the commander. Lily looked at the swirling darkness that had consumed so many worlds. I don't know, she admitted, honestly, but it's our best chance. The darkness moved toward them like a living storm, swallowing stars and leaving nothing behind it. Lily felt fear grip her heart. As she watched it approach on the view screen, it seemed unstoppable. A force of nature rather than something that could be fought. The combined fleet of Xantari and Drakari ships formed a protective ring around the energy device they had created based on Lily's theory. The massive generator glowed with power, ready to release its surge when the darkness came within. Range Commander Zorax stood tall, giving orders to his crew. His voice steady despite the danger, while on another screen, the Drakari Queen coordinated her own fleet. The former enemies now working together against a common threat. Are you certain this will work, Lily Adams? Asked Commander Zorax quietly enough that only she could hear. Lily looked up at the massive blue alien who had placed his trust in her theory. No, she admitted. I can't be certain. But I believe in the pattern. I saw the darkness. Feeds on energy but can be overloaded, like how we treated the weapon wounds. The commander nodded. Sometimes certainty is a luxury we cannot afford. He said we must act on the best information available. You have given us hope where we had none. Dr. Vina monitored the readings from the energy device. It's ready. She announced we can trigger it when the darkness reaches optimal range. On the view screen, the darkness continued its approach, consuming a small asteroid field at the edge of the system. The ship's sensors showed nothing but absence where the asteroids had been. No debris, no energy, just nothing. Energy readings from the anomaly are increasing. Reported a Xantari officer, it appears to be accelerating toward our position. It can sense. The energy device, said Lily. It's attracted to it, just like we hoped. The Drakari Queen spoke through the communication channel. We must time the surge perfectly. Too soon, and it will adapt too late, and we will be consumed. Lily watched the darkness, carefully studying its movement pattern. It doesn't move evenly. She observed suddenly there's a pulse. Then it surges forward like a heartbeat. Dr. Vina quickly analyzed the sensor data. Lily is correct. There is a rhythm to its expansion. Approximately every 78 seconds it pulses and accelerates. We must time the energy surge to the moment just after its pulse, suggested Lily. When it's extended but before it can consolidate, that might disrupt its pattern. Commander Zorax relayed the information. To all ships prepare to trigger on my mark, he ordered all vessels maintain position. The darkness came closer now, visible to the naked eye through the ship's viewports, a swirling void that seemed to bend light around it. The bridge crew watched in horrified fascination as it consumed everything in its path. Next pulse in 10 seconds, announced Dr. Vina. Counting down, Lily held her breath, watching the darkness pulse and stretch toward them. Now she whispered. Commander Zorax gave the order, and Dr. Vina activated the device. The massive generator released its energy surge, a blinding flash of light that shot toward the darkness. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. The energy seemed to vanish into the void with no effect. Lily felt her heart sink. Had she been wrong? Then suddenly the darkness began to change its edges, rippling like water, the void at its center, pulsing rapidly. "It's working," shouted Dr. Vina. The readings show disruption in its structure. The darkness writhed, like a living thing in pain, its expansion halting then reversing slightly. The energy surge continued pouring into it, forcing it to contract. But then something unexpected happened. The darkness began to take shape, forming into a massive spherical structure with tendrils reaching outward. "What is happening?" asked Commander Zorax. "It's changing," said Lily. "It's adapting." The sphere of darkness pulsed one final time, then suddenly collapsed in on itself, creating a shock wave that rocked the fleet. The view screen showed a swirling vortex where the darkness had been. "All ships report status," ordered Commander Zorax as the fleet stabilized. Dr. Vina studied her instruments. "The darkness has collapsed into a stable singularity," she reported. "It is no longer expanding. The threat is contained." Cheers erupted across the bridge. Xantari officers celebrating their victory. The communication channels filled with similar sounds from the Drakari ships. Commander Zorax turned to Lily, his 4 eyes gleaming, with something she recognized as respect. "You have saved not just my daughter but countless worlds, Lily Adams. You have given both our species a future." The victory celebration lasted for days, the combined fleet returning to the nearest Xantari outpost, where both species gathered to formalize their new alliance. The darkness had been defeated, but the cooperation between former enemies continued. Lily found herself honored by both Xantari and Drakari leaders. She was given medals and titles that felt strange to a woman who had once been just a cleaner with a mop and bucket. On the final night of celebration, Commander Zorax approached Lily as she stood alone watching the alien stars from an observation deck. "You seem troubled." "Lily Adams," he said, "for one who has achieved so much." Lily smiled faintly. "I was thinking about Earth, about my mother. I left to help her, but I've been gone so long." The commander nodded, understanding. "I have something to show you," he said, gesturing for her to follow. He led her to a private chamber where Dr. Vina waited along with the Drakari Queen and several high-ranking officials from both species. Lily Adams said, "The Queen, our Alliance Council has made a decision. We wish you to become our official ambassador to Earth." Lily stared in shock. "Me? An ambassador?" Commander Zorax continued. "We will send you home aboard our fastest vessel, with medicines for your mother, and a proposal for Earth to join our new alliance. Your world has much to offer, and much to gain." "Doctor," Vina stepped forward, touching Lily's shoulder gently. "What you call human intuition is more valuable than you know," she said. "Your species sees patterns and possibilities that ours miss together. We could achieve greatness." Lily thought about her journey. From cleaner to savior to ambassador, it seemed impossible. And yet here she was standing among alien leaders who respected her, valued her insights, and wanted her to represent them. "I would be honored," she said. "But I have one condition." The aliens waited for her to continue. "I want to establish a human medical program." She explained where humans and aliens work together, combining our different approaches to healing. Like we did with the commander's daughter and the weapon wounds, and the darkness. The Queen clicked her approval. "An excellent proposal. I would add that we should include educational exchange, allowing humans to learn our technology while we learn your intuitive thinking." Commander Zorax nodded his agreement. "It shall be done." 3 weeks later, Lily stood on the bridge of a Xantari diplomatic vessel approaching Earth. The blue planet growing larger in the view screen beside her stood a young female Xantari with familiar markings. Lila Zari had grown quickly, as all Xantari children, did she now stood nearly as tall as Lily herself. The commander's daughter had insisted on joining the mission to Earth as Lily's assistant and student. "Are you excited to be home?" asked Lilazari, her voice musical through the translator. Lily smiled. "Yes, but this is just the beginning," she said. "Looking at the planet below where everything was about to change, our worlds will never be the same." As the ship entered Earth's atmosphere, Lily thought about her journey among the stars, how she had gone from invisible to essential, how her simple human way of seeing had changed the course of alien civilizations. She was returning home, not as the same woman who had left, but as someone who had found her place in the universe, and that place was between worlds, building bridges where none had existed before. 5 years passed since Lily Adams returned to Earth as the ambassador for the Xantari-Drakari Alliance. The planet had changed dramatically in that time. Alien technology now helped cure diseases that had once been fatal, including the illness that had afflicted Lily's mother. A joint medical academy had been established in what was once Colorado, now called the Intuitive Healing Center, where humans taught aliens about observation and instinct, while aliens taught humans about advanced medical technology. The results had revolutionized medicine throughout known space. Lily stood on the balcony of the embassy building, watching human and alien students walk together across the campus grounds below. Lilazari, now fully grown into a tall, elegant Xantari female, joined her. "The new neural interface program is showing excellent results," said Lilazari, her voice no longer requiring translation as she had mastered human speech. 70% of human students can now directly access Xantari medical databases. Lily nodded, watching a group of Drakari medical students demonstrating their exoskeleton flexibility to fascinated human classmates. "And what about the intuition training for the aliens?" Lilazari made the clicking sound. That was the Xantari equivalent of laughter. Still challenging, she admitted. Many Xantari and Drakari struggled to trust their observations without technological confirmation, but they are learning. The latest class showed 15% improvement in diagnostic accuracy using combined methods. A small transport ship landed on the pad nearby, and Commander Zorax emerged, his massive frame still impressive. Despite the years that had passed, he wore ceremonial armor indicating an official visit. Lily smiled at the sight of him. The commander had become something of a father figure to her over the years. His trust in her had never wavered, even when others doubted. "Greetings, Commander," she called as he approached. Zorax nodded to his daughter, then turned to Lily. "I bring news from the Alliance Council." He said several new species have petitioned to join our coalition, including the Mavorians and the Talax. Lily had heard of these species. The Mavorians were aquatic beings with powerful telepathic abilities, while the Talax were gaseous entities that existed in cloud formations. Both had valuable resources and unique perspectives that would strengthen the alliance. "That's excellent news," she said. "Have they sent representatives?" The commander nodded. "They arrive tomorrow for the Galactic Congress. You will be expected to attend as Earth's primary ambassador and as the founder of our medical coalition." Lily felt a moment of anxiety. Despite her years in this role, she sometimes still felt like the cleaner who had simply noticed a loose tube. The weight of responsibility never fully left her shoulders. "Will Dr. Vina be attending?" she asked. Zorax made an affirmative gesture. "She leads the Xantari medical delegation and brings new research on combining intuitive diagnosis with quantum healing techniques." The Galactic Congress had become an annual event where all allied species gathered to share knowledge and strengthen bonds. Earth had been chosen as the host planet this year, a sign of how quickly humans had risen in status among the stars. The next morning, Lily dressed in her formal ambassador attire, a blend of human professional wear and alien symbolic elements. Her assistant, Tanya Martinez, helped arrange the ceremonial sash that indicated Lily's status as founder of the Intuitive Healing Program. "These new species are really interested in your medical program," said Tanya, a former nurse who had quickly adapted to alien physiology. "The Mavorians, especially, they believe their telepathy combined with human intuition could create even more advanced healing techniques." Lily smiled as they walked toward the massive Congress Hall built specifically for interspecies gatherings. Who would have thought cleaning floors on an alien ship would lead to this? The Congress Hall was filled with beings from across the galaxy. humans mingling with blue-skinned Xantari insect-like Drakari, floating clouds of Talax, and the shimmering aquatic tanks that housed Mavorian delegates. The room hummed with dozens of languages, all being simultaneously translated. Lily took her place at the Earth delegation table, nodding to political leaders who had once dismissed her ideas, but now treated her with respect. Commander Zorax sat with the Xantari delegation, while the Drakari Queen herself represented her people. The Congress began with formal introductions of new species when the proceedings reached a natural break. Lily was called to present the latest findings from the Intuitive Healing Center. She stood before the gathered delegates feeling the weight of all eyes upon her, alien and human alike. 5 years ago, she began. I was a cleaner on a Xantari ship, noticing a disconnected tube, saved a commander's daughter, and began a journey none of us could have predicted today. I stand before you as living proof that different perspectives working together create solutions no single species could discover alone. She activated the holographic display showing the impressive results of the combined medical program. Thousands of lives saved across multiple species, diseases cured, and new treatments developed. The human quality you call intuition, said a Mavorian delegate, her voice bubbling through the water of her tank. And into the translator, we have observed this in your kind. It is similar to our telepathic sensing, but follows different neural pathways. Lily nodded to the shimmering aquatic being. Exactly. And by combining your telepathy with our intuition and Xantari technology, we believe we can develop even more advanced healing methods. A Talax representative floated forward, its gaseous form shifting colors as it spoke. Our species exists as collective consciousness. We sense patterns in energy fields. That others cannot perceive this too could enhance your program. The discussion continued for hours, representatives from each species offering their unique perspectives and abilities to the growing alliance. Lily found herself at the center of it, all the human whose simple observation had started everything. That evening, a formal reception was held in the embassy gardens, alien and human delegates mingling under the stars. Lily found a quiet moment alone, reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. Dr. Vina approached her old friend, looking distinguished in her formal medical attire. You seem contemplative. Lily Adams, she said. Lily smiled at the Xantari doctor who had been the first to see value in her human perspective. I was just thinking about how everything changed because of one loose tube in a baby's pod. Dr. Vina made a sound of agreement. Small observations can alter the course of galaxies. She said, This is what your species has taught mine to see the significance in details. Commander Zorax joined them along with his daughter Lilazari, the family that had adopted Lily into their alien world in many ways. The Alliance Council has made a decision, said the commander, his voice solemn. We wish to establish a new position, Galactic Medical Director, to oversee the expansion of the Intuitive Healing Program to all member species. Lily looked at him with surprise. That's a massive undertaking. Indeed, said Dr. Vina, and we unanimously recommend you for the position. Lily felt the familiar sensation of being overwhelmed, but there must be more qualified candidates. Lilazari touched her arm gently. You bridge worlds, Lily Adams. You understand both intuition and technology, both human and alien perspectives. There is no one more qualified. Lily looked around at the gathered species in the garden, representatives from across the galaxy, working together because one human woman had noticed what others missed, because she had trusted her observations and spoken up when protocol said to stay silent. Commander Zorax placed a hand on her shoulder. What say you, Lily Adams? Will you lead us into this new era of healing? Lily thought about her journey from the lonely cleaner mopping floors on an alien ship to this moment standing among the stars as an equal. She thought about all the lives that had been saved and all that could still be saved. I will, she said, and I know exactly where to begin. 10 years later, Lily Adams stood in the observation dome of the Galactic Medical Academy, a massive space station orbiting Earth where beings from 100 worlds came to learn the art and science of intuitive healing. The program she had built had spread across the known galaxy, saving billions of lives below her. On the training floor, human doctors worked alongside Xantari healers, Drakari scientists, Mavorian telepaths, and dozens of other species, each contributing their unique perspectives to the practice of medicine. A young human woman approached Lily. "With respect, Director Adams, the new Centaurian delegates have arrived. They bring interesting healing crystals they believe will enhance our neural interface." "Technology," Lily smiled at the young doctor. "Thank you, Diane. Please show them to conference room 3 and ask Dr. Lilazari to join us as." The doctor left. Lily turned back to the viewport, looking at Earth below and the stars beyond. She thought about the message she had sent home when she was just a cleaner on an alien ship. "Dear Mom," she had written him, "working hard and learning so much, I hope I can make a difference here." She had made more of a difference than she could have possibly imagined. Not because she was the smartest or the strongest or the most advanced, but because she had been brave enough to trust what she saw and speak what she knew. A cleaning woman from Earth had changed the stars themselves, not with technology or weapons or politics, but with the simple human gift of seeing what others missed and caring enough to act.